So just one thing before starting the video, I noticed later that in the upcoming video about the lamp, I didn't show you guys how to open the render view. So to open it, you can do it in two ways. You can do in Arnold, open Arnold render view, and you get it here, and it's this window here. There are a few parameters, but don't worry, we are gonna check them on later. The second way to do it is to go here, you press spacebar, you go Arnold, open Arnold render view. It's the same thing as here, and you have it open, so you can launch the render and do your things. Yeah, so this is it. This is how you open the Arnold render view. Okay, people, so this is the next tutorial for the lamp, and we are gonna learn how to apply some basic materials using Maya and Arnold. And this is good because the same method is gonna be very similar for any other CG softwares like Unreal or Blender or all those softwares. And we already know a bit Maya and how to navigate, so I think the best way to approach this new topic is using something we are familiar with. And okay, so the thing we are gonna do today is gonna look like this. So I just created this small setup with a light from the right that is kind of very cool and cyan, and the light of the lamp that is warm and orange, which are two colors that are good together. And everything took me like 2 minutes to set up, so it's gonna be very easy, I think, to understand. And the overall materials of the lamp are just one for the body, which is like copper, and the glass is the second one, and then the light that is inside. So let's start. So first thing first, I want to create a plane, because as you can see, if I still have it, there is a floor here, and in Maya you don't have it by default. We just have the lamp as we created it earlier. So I go here and I created a plane, and then I scale it a bit so it covers completely my the shot. And you should, if you are like this, you should enable this too, so you can see basically the render output, and it's gonna be what the render is gonna look like. So this is very helpful. And one thing I do by as a personal preference is I go to the settings and I go to display option, and I set gate mask opacity all at 1 and gate mask color to black, so it's a bit more clear to understand. So now the first thing you want to do is to create a light, because if you want to render something, a render is something that it's kind of simulate real life. So in real life, to see things you need a light. If there is no light, it's pitch black and you don't see anything. So to create a light, you need to go to Arnold, Light, Area Light. There are different lights, and we're gonna study those later on. But for this demonstration, we use the Area Light. And I scale it up, and I move it here. And I rotate it a bit, so it kinda, make light on the lamp from the right. It's not finished though, because there are some parameters here. As you can see, the attribute editor always give you, some information or parameters about anything you select. Like geometry has one, and lights has different. But the only one I want you guys to check is the color, because we want like a nice cyan color, a bit warm. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, should be okay. And the exposure. So I think a value that works in this kind of setup is 12. And and that's it. After this, we want to see the lamp. And as we saw in the render, the inside is a light. So how do you do that? You need to go to the Arnold tab in the shape, attribute editor shape. You go to the Arnold tab, and in Arnold translator, you need to set this as mesh light. I have already set up the color from before, so I think he remembers the settings, but you need to, set an orange color here, and then you want to do light visible, because you want the light to be visible, and you set the exposure to 8, or maybe 7. So these are the 3 settings you want to change. And now, how do we create material? Because if you see in the render here, there is a nice kind of copper material that gives some nice reflection. And to do that, we need to basically select all the object we want to, make copper. And remember, we have the glass still, because the glass is another material. So you don't select the glass for this. You just select the interior and, the frames and the kind of roof. And then you need to go right-click, assign favorite material, standard surface. And when you do it, it automatically, if you have the attribute editor open, you can have the attributes for the material. The Arnold standard surface is the default Arnold material. And don't worry about these things yet, okay? These can be a bit complex, but what we want to do is just go to preset and go to copper and replace. So in this way, we added the material, and if you want, you can rename it. And I highly suggest you to rename materials, because when you have big environments, it's easier to recognize the different material you have. And once this is done, the last thing to do is to basically give the glass material to our glass geometry. So I select my glass. If you did the model previously, you will have an organization similar to this, so the glass is separate. And I do the same. So right click, assign favorite material, standard surface. And I do preset. And I think a nice result is with phosphored glass, and I do replace. And at this point, we should have a shot setup that should work and give us some nice renders. So let me delete this, and let's refresh it. Yeah, you see? Maybe this is a bit dark, so I want to maybe give this. Let's see. Yeah, I want to give this maybe a bit more, 14. Let's see. Maybe it's a bit too much, 14. Yeah, it should be okay. Maybe, yeah, it's a bit too much. I go back to 12. And maybe I make it a bit closer, like this. Like this. Yeah, that is it. So we have a nice warm light and a nice cool light from the right, and the lamp is kind of warm, so makes a nice, complementary, setup of colors, which can be nice. but you can, play around and decide different colors on your own. If you want to change it, it's fine. I choose this one because, I like them, but you can, be creative. And I actually highly recommend you to be creative and do things your own. So I think that's pretty much it. One thing I probably forgot to mention is how do you open the render view? So if you go to Arnold, open Arnold render view, and you click on it and you can get this window. And this window is basically the Arnold render view, and it's cool. You can see your render. There are some settings, we can check them later. You can add some snapshot, so you can save your renders and maybe make some adjustment. And if I change my light, for example, I give it for 15, which is gonna be too much, and then I refresh my render, and you can make another snapshot so you can see before and after. So that's pretty much it for this small introduction to the materials and lighting, how to set up a light and give some basic material in Arnold, Maya. And it's gonna be the same thing also in Unreal. If we use Unreal later, it's gonna be the same basically idea. You need to add a light and materials to make something look realistic. Even stylized assets have materials that are stylized, and we're gonna check later how they can be created. But for now, this I think is gonna be enough for this session. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.